last 20 odd years. And yeah, we have a band, and the band changes, and this is our current band, and what a wonderful band it is. The reason we're here is because our second accordionist, and I, lives down these parts, and said absolutely you have to come to Ashburton. So somehow, by the magic of her charm, she managed to get the rest of the band to agree to come down, and here we are. We're going to do a 90 Rebettico song. I'll explain it a bit as we go along. the problem about having a band like this is that one, two, three of us, I think, are currently studying ethnomusicology at a relatively high level and sweating over various dissertations, which means if you wind me up, I'm like a kind of clockwork rabbit. I will just talk all night about the history, origins, and everything there is to know about this music. However, I'm going to spare you that, but I will give you a few bits and pieces. And what you need to know basically is that the Rebetiko music was a music that was really coalesced in the 1920s, 1930s, after the First World War, when some people thought it was a good idea to give Greece the territory of the defeated Ottoman Empire in Anatolia. So there was a Greek expedition went over there to try and carry this out. The Turkish people by this time had formed a Turkish republic and decided this was not such a good idea and they were not going to stand for it. Some very ugly things started happening, pogroms and all sorts in Anatolia involving the Greeks at the time. And this resulted in an international treaty, the Treaty of Lausanne, which made a population exchange of Muslims and Turks who lived in Greece, who were shipped over to the Turkish mainland, and Greeks and Christians who lived in Anatolia, what is now Turkey, they were shipped over to Greece. And in the process, they brought with them their musics. So the Greeks from Anatolia, Izmir and places came over to mainland Greece. And the music they brought with them was a music that contained with it all kinds of really interesting microtonal stuff. You're not going to get the whole lecture tonight because we will be here all night, but little things that do quarter tones. The Turks claim that they can divide a single tone into 9 separate little portions, and they can recognize every one of them. Right? So this music, this microtonal music, comes over, and what it does, it meets fretted instruments, which in theory should be impossible because fretted instruments go do, re, mi, right? And somehow they mix the two together, and somehow out of all this, Rebetiko music comes, and the songs, because people were refugees in the dives and the ports and so on, the songs were often songs of low life, often songs of hashish smoking and all that, which HMV was recording at the time because that's what the people wanted, and so on. Anyway, enough of the blah blah. Next song we're going to do is called Sinephias Meni Kyriaki. This one and the following one are very strong songs for Greeks from the Second World War, remembrance of the Second World War. Sinephias Meni Kyriaki means cloudy Sunday, it's Itsani's song, and the second one that we'll do is called Niktos et Choris Fengari, is on a moonless night, which is a kind of anthem of the very tragic Greek civil war which followed on the Second World War. Sinephias Meni. actually makes no specific reference to historical events, but it became a sort of anthem for the movement and has remained that way from that day to this. Another thing you need to know about these songs is that under it's banned music. This is banned music, this is illegal music. Different periods in Greek history, if they found you with one of these, the policeman would break it across his knee and you would be sent to a prison island for your re-education. Banned music because it represented the decadent Orient. If you look at films of the time, you will see that they wanted to bring in classical Greek dancing and people who looked like ancient Athenians. Greeks always had these notions of, Greece in some ways was invented by European romantics, and that's what the image. Anyway, long story. This music, as I say, was banned. You could be sent to prison for it. It was also, right through to relatively recently, was subject to censorship under two periods of fascism. It was censored, and that song, for instance, has an alternate version. The young boy with the candle that lights him in the dark, or Mekeli with a candle, or Stokeli in the cell. That cell reference was edited out. Anyway, there we go. Είμαστε Alanya, jolly song. Let's go.
Είμαστε Αλάνια, για λεφτά παιδιά μέσα στην πιάσα και δεν την τρομάζουν οι φορτούνες στη δική μας ράζα και δεν την τρομάζουν οι φορτούνες στη δική μας ράζα. Κοίτα θες, πάντα έτσι τη ζωή, θα μετράς κοιτάκες βράδυ και πρωί. Κοίτα θες, πάντα έτσι τη ζωή, θα γελάς κοιτάκες βράδυ και πρωί. Κάθε μας μεράκι γίνεται τραγούδι και το λέμε και μες στα τραπάζα μάθαμε ποτέ μας να μην κλαίμε και μες στα τραπάζα μάθαμε ποτέ μας να μην κλαίμε. Κοίτα θες, πάντα έτσι τη ζωή, θα γελάσει, θα κλαις βράδυ και πρωί. Κοίτα θες, πάντα έτσι τη ζωή, θα γελάσει, θα κλαις βράδυ και πρωί. Σάρκα πέρα στον Παξέτσι πλήγει, που γράφουν γλυκιά απ' την Θεσσαλονίκη. Να σου παίξει φίλο παλαμά, σου βρήκα και την βαρκούλα, γλυκιά μου μαριγούλα, να σου παίξει φίλο παλαμά. Ακρόπολη στη Φάρνα, να μπορείς τα κουσορά του Δαλαμάκα. Πάμε για τους εμφυλάρι, σε πίσω ακουζάρι, να σου παίξω φίλο παλαμά. Να μου πίσω παίξιμάρι, σε φυτό ακρογιάννη, να σου παίξω φυτό παλαμά.
He's got one version of the words, I've got another version of the words, and somehow we meet in the middle. We meet in the middle. There's all kinds of confusing things about this band as well. I mean, over the end there we've got Nikos, and here we've got Nikos, and here we've got Nikos. Any Nikos is in the public. Have we got any Greek people in our public? Oh, there's a good one, yes.
I guess Nikos,
yeah? Are you Nikos by any chance? Okay. Oh yes. Heavy. This is a very nice heavy song. You may have noticed that in the last few weeks we've changed prime ministers quite a few times. No, I do not wish to disturb this fair city by bringing politics into. Actually, I have to say something about this wonderful place here. I fully expected that this being an ex-Methodist chapel, the acoustic would be fantastic in here. But in fact, it's not really. It's kind of dead acoustic, which is strange. But I can tell you, in the gents' toilets, ladies and gentlemen, the acoustic is superb. Absolutely. Another thing I've discovered: you are not vainglorious people down here. You don't go around preening yourselves and fancying it. I was in there and I thought, well, you do what you do before the show, and then you just adjust your tie. There's no mirror in the gents' toilets, ladies and gentlemen. This is an astonishing cultural fact about Ashburton. Anyway, enough of that. Prime Ministers, this song is about, written by Marcos Vambakaris, who incidentally was usually stoned out of his mind on hashish, sometimes to the point where they used to go to a little cave down by the sea to smoke the good stuff, and he couldn't even crawling up the path, up the cliff on his hands and knees. Was that bad, right? So he was heavy duty dope smoker. This one is on Marcos Protiburgos, where he's going to offer his services to the country as Prime Minister. And I'm sure he could do no worse than the current shower we have in power. Let's go. Βάζω υποψηφιότητα πρωθυπουργός να γίνω.
τον άργυλε και να τους μαστολιάζω. Να τους πατώ τον άργυλε και να τους μαστολιάζω. Να ανεβαίνω στην βολή εγώ να διατάζω.
There must this another one, 9/8 time. I'll explain it afterwards. Θερμαστής στο κολό, έτσι ποτές μαλώνει. Στο κρασανάκι σου να ανάψουν οι φωτιές σου. Και μες του Κάρντιφ τα νερά, εκεί να πάω να αλλάξω. Η θάλασσα μου τα κάνε, τα σωτικά μου μάτια. Ωπα, κάνει όλα. happened that we thought we heard the word Cardiff in there. It was indeed in there. The word bay, there's a word bay, and some people, when they hear this song, they think it's a reference to the Turkish honorific term, you know, the bay, ladies and gentlemen. So not at all. It's Cardiff Bay, because of course Greek mariners are all over the world carrying goods, people far and wide. That is the history between the nations since way back to Homer and before. Osiekune Polalefta, philosophical song. All those people who've got lots of money, what's the point of it? Because you can't take it with you. Bye.
Όσοι έχουνε πολλά λεφτά να ξέραν τι τα κάνουν. Άραγες απ' κάνουνε γραμμαναμάν μαζί τους θα τα πάρουν. Άραγες απ' κάνουνε γραμμαναμάν μαζί τους θα τα πάρουν. Εγώ ψηλή στη τσέπη μου, ποτέ δεν αποτάσω κι όλα τα τέτοια μου παίρνουν γραμμαναμάν μόνο σαν βάζουν μοιάζω κι όλα τα τέτοια μου παίρνουν γραμμαναμάν μόνο σαν βάζουν μοιάζω. Αφού στον άλλον η δουλειά λεφτά δεν θα περνάνε, τα έχουν και τα βήμια σου ρε γραμμαναμάν και δεν τα πάνε. Τα έχουν και τα βήμια σου ρε γραμμαναμάν και τα έχουν τα πάνε.
We had a tour planned for the start of October. We didn't quite manage to get there. We were going to go to Thessaloniki and do some concerts there, which was going to be under the theme of Anathema Sethalasa, a curse upon the sea. It was going to be a collection of Rebetiko songs that had to do with seafaring, every aspect of the sea that you can possibly imagine. The tour didn't actually happen, but for me it was a kind of a bit of a personal thing because my mother is Greek, was Greek, and she, the family were from Pondos on Black Sea, And she used to tell lots and lots of stories, you know, about the history of the family there and everything. And you know, when you're young, you go, yes, mum, no, mum, yes, mum, no, mum. And it's really very little interest actually. But then later on in life, you start to think about things. And then you go to School of Oriental and African Studies, and of course you have to study your personal history, or be an ethnomusicologist, so you look at yourself. And I looked at my family, and they moved from Pondos, came down to Istanbul, and then went to Thessaloniki. This was immediately after, well, shortly after the Russian Revolution, and they settled. My grandfather was a tobacco merchant, and I think they settled in Thessaloniki, little tobacco industry there, and yeah, moments of self-realization, but you suddenly go, we were refugees. I never thought of my family as refugees, but it was a really salutary sort of moment, and it's really a salutary moment for all of us, because if we look back just a little bit in our own personal histories, we will find stories like that, we will find tragedies like that, we will find all kinds of things, which are all too easily forgotten in the present times of hysteria about refugees and migrants travelling across the world, driven by the same things that my family are driven by. So it goes back almost 100 years on my side of things. We forget about that stuff. This band, we try to remember about that stuff. We try to remember about the Turkish Greek population exchanges, and of course the Greeks who migrated endlessly in migration throughout their history. So this next song is about that. Is I wander around like a disinherited person. Apocalypse.
Αφού το θέλησε η μαύρη μοίρα μες στη ζωή μου να μην χαρώ. Αφού το θέλησε η μαύρη μοίρα μες στη ζωή μου να μην χαρώ.
Well, it's the non-Greek section of the band now. We're going to need seven girls through and through. But we're all like Master Flame to this band. So we're going to do do a song from Epirus, actually, in the north of Greece. It's quite a well-known song called Yanni Moto Mandilisu. Feel free to translate in the weeks. So go on.
In the past, men and women used to carry on, like small tissues with them. That's the mandili, right? Yeah, am I right? Yeah, that's mandili. I'm trying to explain the proper like Greek way of saying things. So Yanis is a name, and the song is about Yanis tissue actually.
With a deeper significance.
Of course,
yeah.
it's significant. I don't feel very confident to say the reason in English. That's right.
You sounded like a Greek woman.
Piani moto, aede. Piani moto mandili su, ela. Tito ekisla romeno, regani anahakimo. Tito ekisla romeno, repali kialahakimo. Tolerose, aide. Tolerose, itsenitia, ela. Taherimo toxena, repari kialahakimo.
That was.
No, was it? No, this one
That
was.
was. Next one. You've got to do your Ich bin krank.
No, no.
There we go. Heavy, heavy, heavy.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa. One at a time. Whoa.
Simpani moris carte farmacomeno, musuki multi procorto, musuki mucaimeno. Το τέρι μου κόφει καρδιά το ξέρει με νεκάζει, μια με καμψία πισί ποιος ήμουν το θυμάσαι. Με κάψια μου σήκωση μου το θυμάσαι, το τέφικο πως την καρδιά το ξέρεις και λυπάσαι. Τώρα με αποστρέφω και με λένε αλαγιάρι, δεν θέλω τέτοια μια ζωή ο Γάλλος να με πάρει. Δεν θέλω τέτοια μια ζωή ο Γάλλος να με πάρει. Τώρα με αποστρέφω και με λένε αλαγιάρι. Μαλανής του καράζεται όταν δεν μένω, για δυο μαλακιά ψεύτικα μέρα και νύχτα λέω. Για δυο μαλακιά ψεύτικα μέρα και νύχτα λέω. Κάνει μαλανής του καράζεται λέω σας ωραίο. Συντροφεύεις και εσύ μονάχα μένεις, αυτή την ψευτική ζωή να μου την εγγενείς. Αυτή την ψευτική ζωή να μου την εγγενείς, που ζουν και συντροφεύεις δεν παίζει μόνο αγαπημένες.
You're the only friend I have in life that is going to support me, because all the others say I'm just a street bum and pointless and useless, but you're going to look after me. And it's true, actually. If you've got one of these things, you can just sit there and groove away, and it does bring happiness. I'm going to bring you even more happiness now, ladies and gentlemen. It's now the interval. You may now head to the bar.
You can indeed go to the bar, but please don't all go at once. It's very small. You'll all just be cramped in there and waiting for a long time. Well, you might as well wait and sit in your seats and then just go a few at a time, and it'll be much more pleasant for everyone. And much appreciation to Paul and Beata, who are volunteers on the bar tonight. That's not very clear. One thing, if anyone wants to invite anyone to join you virtually, I forgot to say at the beginning, we have some cameras and microphones here, which is streaming this live to Zoom and YouTube. If you want to invite anyone, then send them a message and ask them to email boxoffice@ashburtonarts.org.uk. Just send an email to that, they'll get an automatic reply with the links to Zoom and YouTube, and they can join you for the second set. Or you can do it and watch it again later on YouTube. So yeah, just send an email to boxoffice@ashburtonarts.org.uk and They will be with us in spirit.
He is the kiddie, this one, isn't he? I mean, he's seriously well organised, this man. I'm so impressed. Whoa!
Thanks a lot, everyone. Take it easy. We'll be back in 15 minutes or so. Whenever everyone.
It's your job to shush them all back in, all right?
Ed, you could tell everybody to vote green when it comes to the election.
Annie would now like to do a little. No, she won't.
evening, you'd be expecting something special to happen. You'd be scratching around getting tune. We'll be with you shortly. Don't clap them all every time, because I will be here all night. There's Nikos on his jura. There's Anita on her clarinet. There's Lisa, who doubles up on violin and accordion. There's Philippos, who does the bouzouki and that very nice little chunky bit on the baglama earlier on. Philip. And there's yet another Nikos here on the bouzouki and vocals. And yet another Nikos here on the guitar. And Dimitris here on the accordion. And we have Marios here on every instrument that you could possibly imagine. A few months ago, he said, I've just bought a new instrument. I've now got 47 instruments. I said, so where do you sleep? He said, I got rid of the bed. And my name is Ed, and I play the baglama and the zura. There have been at least 10 requests from our public here tonight to explain some of the instruments. Well, I venture to say I actually did a master's dissertation on this one, so you could be here all night, but I'm going to spare you. I'll give you the basic principles. Basic principles, as I said earlier on, is that the Greeks who came from Anatolia in the 20s and 30s brought with them the musics of those parts. The music was carried, generally speaking, on the santuri, which is a kind of hammer dulcimer, the violin, the lira, and the human voice. In other words, instruments which can match every kind of imaginable tonality, really, and microtonalities and so on. So they brought that musical tradition with them to the Greek mainland, and coming the other way, so those were unfretted instruments that can do microtones. Coming the other way, they meet fretted instruments like the guitar and the mandolin, which was very popular for a while until they sawed the neck off it and made it very long and turned it into a bouzouki. And those, of course, are fretted instruments, which they do the do, re, mi, the basic scales, major and minor, that we know in the West. And so what happens, I mean, this little instrument is a case in point. It is called a baglama. You only find them in Greece, only exists in Greece, baglama. It's a Turkish word, baglama, which means something which is tied, which means that the frets, rather than being metal frets, were gut frets. They were tied, and you could move them up and down according to taste. So it's not fixed like these. You could move them around according to local styles and so on. So the Turkish instrument came over. It met the mandolin, which had these kinds of pegs and the frets and so on, and the two of them got together, had sex, and produced this little bastard, basically, which is the most wonderful instrument in the whole universe, because I play in this band, but I also run an Irish band, where all you do is tune from D-A-D up to D-A-E, and you've got a mini mandolin, and you can rock out all the numbers. So that's what this one is. Bouzouki is probably familiar to you. Those who watched the Monty Python sketch might have an opinion on the matter. That's the bouzouki. That in itself is a place of war. Now, trust me, ladies and gentlemen, in our band, sometimes we have war. Literally, war breaks out. I've seen a physical fight in one of our rehearsals between two bouzouki players, because at a certain point in Greek history, because the bouzouki was a kind of three-course thing, right? 3 pairs of strings. At a certain point, a man called Chiotis popularized a 4-string bouzouki, because he wanted to do kind of, you know, Stefan Grappelli kind of fancy stuff sort of thing that you can't do on one of these. And literally in our rehearsal we had a fist fight between 2 bouzouki players. One was a tricordo, the other tetracordo, 4-string and 3-string. It's all right, we'll talk to you. If you want a good laugh, there's some friends of mine in Paris have set up a de-tetrachordization website, right, for doing away with all bouzoukis like that one and bringing back just the three-course one. So guitar, obviously. The bouzouki, by the way, in the early days used to have microtone frets on it. Not so very long ago, actually. But that's all changed now, that's been abandoned. But that was a way in which you could embody those oriental musics, you know, just playing further up the neck, you had those sort of smaller tonalities. The guitar is the guitar, or this one is particularly fabulous, and for some reason has its 12th fret marked in Roman numerals, which I don't quite understand, but anyway. Accordion is accordion, but there's a whole fascinating discussion, because people have tried to make quarter tone accordions. I've done a paper on a man called Burgo Ducoudray, who was trying to popularize quarter tone pianos in the Near East at a certain point. It kind of failed, but people have tried that with accordions as well, and in North Africa you will find accordions that will do those microtones. The Uti, he's in love with this one. He's very, very special. Obviously, it's got a history that goes back right through Islamic musical culture, basically Turkey, Arab countries, Iran. It's got a magnificent history of musicality and also theorization, musical theorization. And if you go back, there was a Persian polymath by the name of Al-Farabi. Just go get his books and read stuff, and way back. But it's all in there about how to play one of these things, and so on. So remains only bad boy down the end there, Mr. Nikos, who has a dzura. Has a dzura. We are actually matching at both ends of the spectrum. This is a dzura. It's basically a cross between a bouzouki and a baglama, and it has the great benefit that you can carry it onto EasyJet without charging you extra.
They charge me €29.
The even greater.
They said to me, "What's a jura?"
The even greater benefit is if you have one of these, of course, you just stick it up your sleeve and walk along. And I mentioned the argument that we had between the 2 bouzouki players. I found actually that this has a remarkable use, because having gone into the middle of the room and separated these 2 fighting people, I went back to my seat and I sat down and I realised I was holding it like this. So, you get a little knob on your head and you get a bash with it. So that's the basics of the instrumentation. There's a lot of other stuff. The clarinet's got a very particular history. some amazing stuff from up in Epirus and so on. And also, there's a whole tradition with the zurna, zurna and dauli, the double-headed drum, which is there's a beautiful Greek song that says, like, you know, you have those two instruments together, it is a golden life, na zoi chrisi. So yeah. That's the basic rundown. So you've got the people, you've got the instruments, and now you're going to get the music. Let's go. Said to the governor, bring us out a nargile, hubble bubble pipe. So he brought it out and he loaded it all up and they sat there and they smoked. Nothing happened. The bar owner hadn't realised he'd given them just straight tobacco instead of the hashish. So they decided they're going to go up in the mountains and have a little smoke up there. It's those kind of songs we do. It's terrible, really. Corrupting the young of Ashburton really shouldn't be allowed by law, but never mind. Pendamorphi. The beautiful woman, the exceptionally beautiful woman. Yeah. I'm slightly abstracted this evening and rather happy because my daughter's just given birth to a little baby boy. So I'm on two planets at the same time. So there you go. Yeah, Alanyaris here, the bad boy. Okathigitis, the professor, down in there. How long we've been going together, you and me? Good few years, man.
A couple of months. How come I got the professor? I'm curious. I forgot why I got named the professor.
Because it's obvious. Well,
TV, I know.
well, the reason is, I suppose, is because we're at a university and you weren't part of the university, and it seemed only fair that you should be given an unofficial position as the professor, as indeed he is. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, I do watch a lot of TV, like horror movies to relax. But anyway, that's another.
I tell you what, you don't want to see this guy unchained. He's been very controlled tonight. He's a good boy tonight. Yeah.
When you're in Devon, it's like heaven. Just check out
Now this is like a street bar. Yeah, like hanging out in the streets and being so stunned out of your mind you don't know one end of your head from the other. Something like that. He don't know anything about that kind of stuff. He's a clean living boy.
Grazie di quella cultura. Opa.
we're gonna do it swing. I'm gonna play Buzuki, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play Buzuki, I'm gonna play it swing. I promised you my sister, we're gonna do it
You know something, we took the band to Istanbul, Constantinople one time, and we played for the Greeks of Istanbul, which is one of the most precious things you could ever do, because they have been sat upon by the Turkish authorities for decades, if not for centuries, and we took this music there, and they'd been deprived of this music, of their own musical culture, and people were so happy. And in the front row at the theatre where we were playing, we had the guys from the Patriarchate, right, from the religious authorities, and they listened to everything we were doing and they kind of nodded in approval. But when he came on, they were, whoa, they were fully on it. So all the priests really, they went for it. I've been researching recently a bit of sea shanties because, as you may know, in Teignmouth we have an annual sea shanty festival, and I wouldn't want us to get left out of it. I kind of think we should make our from Mark, really. So I've been fishing around to see what I can find. I found a very nice Italian one, which is a tuna fishing song about hauling on the ropes for the nets and that. But it's surprisingly hard, actually, to find Mediterranean sea shanties. You would think that there would be such a thing. But it happens that we've got a little song here that we do, which is called Pravda. It's about being on a sea-going trawler, basically. And the reason I come to sing it is because a very dear friend of ours, member of the band, Turkish saz player, Ali Fuat Aydin, lives down in Izmir. He sent me an email one time, many years ago now, and he said, I'm learning Greek. He's a Turkish musician, he's learning Greek in Izmir, and he said, and we're learning this song in our lesson. And he sent me this song, an absolutely fabulous song, and so I thought it's such a beautiful kind of symbolic moment that this Turkish musician should have sent us a Greek song. for us to sing. So we're going to sing it for you tonight. It has a sort of a chorusy thing, which you can sort of join in on, which is nothing complicated, just every now and then. You have to pretend to be jolly seafaring people and go, Yosa. All right, you'll see how it works. Okay, let's go.
Doktorbronni mannen och på skinnen förstindrata. Amuskan vita rokan och en kippoljan och vraka. Rövarkamas, Josa i Corello. Yosa potero, Yosa que potalo, Yosa yane, 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 yasana, yane, yane, yakarasa rebeya. Żywia się trudna. Ręka masz, Joza i Kurelu, Joza potero, Joza potalu, Joza
summer, you might hear that one coming off the pier. It's worth saying about that the word fortuna comes up in that. When I first heard the word fortuna in Greek songs, I thought it was something to do like Italian fortuna, fortune, but actually it's not. It's the Turkish word for a storm, furtun. So it comes into Greek as fortuna, and that's really sweet because it's the international languages of sailors on the Mediterranean. And the same with the chorus, Yaleli. Yaleli is a very just classic Arabic thing that they put into songs. It goes, you know, oh the night, Yaleli. Anyway, yes, we spoke of migrations and migrants, and we now do a little song called Apoxenotopo, from a foreign place, young girl arrives. Thessaloniki and in Piraeus, and they had nothing much to do with their time. So they sat around playing tabli, actually. It was, I'm sorry, I'm half Greek, but I think it's the most pointless game in the whole universe. We all have our differences. Sitting around in the bars of Piraeus and Thessaloniki, and yeah, smoking dope, as I said, but a lot of drinking as well. So, you know, why get just stoned when you can get stoned and drunk as well? So this next song is about being both stoned and drunk. At the same time. Nikos joined the band, him in the middle with the braces, good braces, eh? Good braces. When he joined the band, I said, you know, showed him our tune book, and he said, oh yeah, you know, he said, I only know hashish songs. So, he's a perfectly nice boy, perfectly upstanding citizen, doing his masters and all that, but that is his speciality. And he's about to do you a little one of those called Cantone Stavro, which basically means, you know, get the pipe packed in and ready for a smoke. Off you go.
φωτιά και καυτώνε, παντού φωτιά και καυτώνε, κάτωνε σταυρό κάτωνε. Δώσε του Γιώργου του τρελού. Ράβα βρε Γιάννη, ράβα Πούσε μαγιόρος τεκέτης, πούσε μαγιόρος τεκέτης, τράβα βρε Γιάννη αραβάτη.
The rhythm section. Greek worry beads. And it's strange how people come into this band. You might like to know how this young man got into the band. I'll tell you the story very briefly. He's heard it a million times. You might be amused. He was standing on Fulham Broadway tube station down in London, and he had a case with him. He had a bouzouki case with him, and he was tapping on his bouzouki case like that. And he was also on the platform, and he came over to him and he said, "Nobody likes a man who taps." And then he persuaded him to join our band. And he was 16 years old when he joined our band. There you go. And he's studying at SOAS and doing the business. As indeed is Anita over there. And in fact, this whole band is really merely a pretext for getting people to come and do ethnomusicology at SOAS. Right? Trust me, whatever you're doing in your lives, just drop it and come and do ethnomusicology at SOAS. Although I have to say, they've cut half the courses, so you might have to fight your way in, but if you fight the good fight, you end up doing stuff like this, and it's magnificent and gorgeous and wonderful. So yeah. You end up without a bed as well, yeah, exactly. Good, so we move on, and rendezvous, otando yosumatia, when I see your two eyes. A romantical sort of a song. Yes?
We were going to do it, remember, Ed?
Oh yes, go. Is there don't ask me, I'm just the leader of the band. I mean, they're in charge over there.
We were going to do Manas Tisca Mis Días.
Yeah, you're in charge. Okay.
σου τα ματάκια μου όρθισα φατέλα.
We're coming towards the end of our concert here, and so rebetico. You could have the whole lecture on the etymology of rebetico. The answer is nobody knows where the word comes from. There's 1,000 theories. I've written about 20 pages of analysis of the self-same thing and have arrived at absolutely nothing whatever conclusive on the subject. So actually it's like jazz. Nobody knows where the word comes from. Okay, nobody knows where the word comes from. It doesn't matter. What does matter is rebetico is associated with people. It's not, SOAS, our School of Oriental and African Studies, was kind of a factory for world music. World music was actually invented at SOAS. Did you know that? Really seriously, it was the world music as a category was invented at SOAS. And rebetico has become a sort of a category, a genre. Well, it's not actually. It's about the quality of being a rebetis. It's about how you live in life. You live a decent human life with your fellow mortals. You are resistant to power and the oppressive nature of power. You stand up for the underdog. You have a good time. You have a party. When Greeks go down to Hades, the first thing they ask from Charon is, is there good grooving to be had down here, Glendy, and all that. So to play rebetico is actually about being a rebetis, or the female equivalent, or rebetisa. So this next song is about a rebetis who finds himself in a church. When you're in a church, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? You guess. What do we always do? Roll up a joint, roll up a split, and the angels come down and they want to share it.
Είσαι ψηλά εκεί πάνω. Ρίξε λιγάκι του εκεί, Θεούλη μου, στον αργυλέμα πάνω. Ρίξε λιγάκι του εκεί, Θεούλη μου, στον αργυλέμα πάνω. Της εκκλησιάς, τις αψηλές γαμάρες, ανάψαμε δυο τσιγάριες, Θεούλη μου, σαν να τανε λαμπάδες. Ανάψαμε δυο τσιγάριες, Θεούλη μου, σαν να τανε λαμπάδες. προς τον Άγιο Σπυρίδωνα με τα σπράττου τα γένια τραβάω μία του μανιά Θεούλη μου ξερενέται στα γέλια τραβάω μία του μανιά Θεούλη μου ξερενόμαι στα γέλια Έρθουμε σε ντουμάνι στείλονους τους αγγέλους σου Θεέ να πουν τον Αμινάνι στείλονους τους αγγέλους σου Θεέ να πουν τον Αμινάνι
Next song we're going to do is Sala Sala, and I say nothing really about this except that it's in a very nice mode. I spoke of the modes earlier on in the East, and this one is in Sabah mode. And you may be interested to know that this mode has actually been banned since the times of the ancient Greeks. So it goes back all that way when they disapproved of it because they thought it was to do with lascivious living and stuff like that. But it's a very fine mode, and in fact I think at a certain point in Iran it was also banned, but the Kurds have kept it in their music, and so they end up in a situation where people in Iran listen to Kurdish music because it brings this mode back in. This always happens in the age of radio and YouTube and all that. You can ban as much as you like, but the music is subversive. It finds its way, it comes under barbed wire and blocks and obstacles and re-engages and takes over your heart. So here we go, Sala Sala. 3 verses.
σε πάρω να με πάρεις, συμφωνήσαμε. Σάλα, φεύγει, σάλα, το μιλήσαμε. Να σε πλένω τα ποτήρια και τον άργυλε. Κάνε με παραδουλάκι μες στο καφενέ. Άσπρα, πότε μαύρα, πότε κόκκινα. Την καρδιά μου αν ζητούσες στα σπινελίνα. Άιντε την καρδιά μου jedina. Pote aspra, pote mavra, pote coquilla.
When you get on in years, Marcos van Bacaris had this problem because people say that Rebetiko is called Rebetiko because it's all played in the key of D. In other words, re, do, re, mi. Okay, re. So Rebetiko, yeah. But what happens? You get to my age, and it happened with Marcos van Bacaris, that your voice goes down somewhat. So he moved it down to a sort of C sharpy sort of thing. And when we do this stuff in the D, there's this lovely octave leap that the singers do, and that's why I love this man, because he can do it. He's younger than I am, and he can do it. He can get up there. It's a real, nice singing, brother. Nice singing. Okay. So some of you know already, for 20 odd years I've been running a Rebetiko festival on the island of Ithra in Greece. It's a very special gathering. We've had conferences, we've had the best musicians in Greece have come down and played down there with us. Unfortunately we can't play there anymore because Mr. Duskos, the son, Mr. Duskos, who owns the Duskos restaurant, has banned us from playing in the public square outside his restaurant, which is the only space in Ithra where you can actually do this kind of event. It's also where Leonard Cohen sat under the tree, the Xevi Elia. You'll see it in the photographs. So we don't go to Ithra anymore. I won't go back there until the people manage to get that space back for us. Anyway, that's a long blah blah blah. The national anthem of the island of Ithra, which was a seafaring island, which sent out the ships, which the Greek War of Independence won Greece's independence from the Turks. So it's a famous naval island, but it also had a long sponge fishing tradition. So down in North Africa, they used to sail down there, fish the sponges, bring them back, before plastic sponges were invented by the Japanese. So this is the sort of national anthem of the island of Ithra. It's called Xekinami Apsaropula, a fishing boat sets sail. Yeah, we're going to finish with this. Off we go. Are we going to finish with this? We're not going to finish with it. Oh, see, they've got a piece of paper that they haven't given me. They've got stuff that's written down that I don't even know about. So, okay, go.
Oh,
παλικάρια και στο καλό, και στο καλό. Για χαρά σας παλικάρια, να μας βρείτε σφουγγάρια, γιούσε πιο κομμάτια, από το γυαλό, από το γυαλό. Για χαρά σας παλικάρια, να μας βρείτε σφουγγάρια, γιούσε πιο κομμάτια, από το γυαλό, από το γυαλό. Sociological analysis of the cruise and everything. I once wrote a long paper on the subject. Completely fascinating. Sponge fishing. Yeah, go and have a look at the history of sponge fishing. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the Sias Rebettico Band. People, here we are. Shall we take a bow? Why not? Some of you have obviously got to leave because you've probably got buses. We've got one more. Yeah, we do it. I don't sing it. Who sings it? Yeah.
In another 40 days. la chiesa sulle fini, maritando le fini, voglio la chiesa sulle fini.
Super thanks to all of you, to the great public. Super thanks to the band. They worked really hard to put the repertoire together for tonight. Super thanks to everyone here at the community centre, running the bar and running everything on the outside. And super respect to our super techie man up the back, who, as I said, is the business, and you should be very proud of having such a fella in your midst. So there you go. Thank you and good night. We hope we'll see you another time. Bye bye.